Good morning. I am Ann Bieber, principal of Storm Grove Middle School, and I'd like to welcome you to our virtual Veterans Day Salute. Each year, Storm Grove has hosted a Veterans Day Salute here on campus, but this year we've had to go to a virtual platform. We felt it important to hold on to this time-honored tradition and still recognize our veterans. Last week, our students and faculty raised $522 for the Veterans Council of Indian River County through our Casual for a Cause Dress Down. We hope that you will enjoy our performances today that are virtual from our band, orchestra, and chorus, as well as our guest speaker, Mr. Richard Meyer, who is the Assistant Superintendent in charge of curriculum for Indian River County. Thank you.
storm clouds gather far across the sea. Let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountain to the prairie to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home. Tell my father that his son didn't run or surrender. Let me know his name with pride as I try to remember. You are judged by what you do, not passing through. As I rest beneath fields of green, let him lean on your shoulder. Tell him how I spent my youth, so the truth could grow older. Tell my father when you can, I was a man. Tell him we will meet again, where the angels learn to fly. Tell him we will meet as men, for with honor did I die. Tell him how I wore the blue, proud and true through the fire. Tell my father so he'll know I love him so. Tell him we will meet again, where the angels learn to fly. Tell him we will meet as men, for with honor did I die. Tell him how I wore the blue, proud and true, like he taught me. Tell my father not to cry and say goodbye.
I've never really talked to a veteran. How could one person have the courage to go out there during a war, put their life at risk, make such big decisions, and still manage to think about the people around you and even the millions of strangers you are doing this for? It's such a selfless thing. What made you do it? How did you find the motivation or desire to put your life at risk for strangers? Weren't you scared? How could you deal with the thought that something could happen to you at any moment? Is it as horrible as movies make it seem? Were there moments where you felt maybe powerful or happy? It's such an admirable thing. And the fact that you do it for total strangers is really something special. I find it so remarkable when people decide to serve this country and put their lives at risk. I wish I knew how people have so much courage. I wish I knew how people get the feeling that this is what they are meant to do. You are so courageous.
Thank you so much to our band, orchestra, and chorus for those amazing performances. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you our guest speaker, Mr. Richard Meyer. Mr. Richard Meyer joined the School District of Indian River County as the Assistant Superintendent in charge of Curriculum and Instruction in February of 2020. Prior to that, he served as the Executive Director of Just Read Florida. Prior to his time at the Department of Education, he had wide-ranging experiences in every capacity of K-12 education. Mr. Meyer has worked at every level, including elementary, middle, and high school, and has practical first-hand experience in the actual implementation of Florida's complex educational policies. In the midst of his career in education, Mr. Meyer took a break from the classroom to enlist for 5 years in the U.S. Army during the global war on terror. He served as an infantryman and was deployed to both Afghanistan and Iraq as a sniper before returning home to teach again in 2009. His commendations include the Bronze Star, the Combat Infantryman Badge, and multiple Army Commendation Medals. Mr. Meyer utilized the GI Bill to earn his Master's in Educational Leadership from the University of West Florida, which enabled him to continue the progression of his career in education. Mr. Meyer recently moved to Vero Beach with his wife, who is also a teacher, and 2 sons. He is fully committed to the success of every student in Indian River County, as well as the organizations and leaders who are responsible for making that success possible. Mr. Meyer considers it an honor to have served in the capacities he has held and is willing to do anything asked of him to continue this support. Thank you.
All right, so I don't know whether you're watching this in the morning or in the afternoon, wherever we're participating in this, but good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. My name is Richard Meyer. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about Veterans Day. So first of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Bieber and the entire staff at Storm Grove Middle School for putting this on, and even in the midst of the pandemic, I know they do a great job with their normal annual Veterans Day celebration, but to continue to do this virtually, just truly an honor, and shows how much they care about this, and you know, being selected to be one of the folks to speak is really truly something that I'll cherish. And so it's difficult, right? It's difficult anytime you're asked to represent veterans as a veteran, because we all have such unique stories. And so I'd like to begin with that and just recognizing all the branches of service, all the veterans, men, women, old, young, whatever the jobs that we've all done, they truly deserve to be recognized. And to be the one person that's standing here right now giving this video, it's a little intimidating, right? Because you don't want to speak on behalf of anybody. I can really only tell my story and what I know from my experience. But to those of you that are listening, please do recognize that each veteran has their own unique story to tell, and it's worth listening to. Some of the stuff that I'll tell you today, you know, are things that are points of pride for myself, but other veterans may look at it and they may think to themselves, I had a different experience with that. So always listen, right? Always listen, always ask what's going on in the lives of the veterans, because I think you all learn so much. So here's a little bit about my story. You know, I'm obviously addressing a group of middle school students, really, and anybody else that wants to listen. So generally when I do these sort of things, I look at my audience, I look at you guys, and I want to sort of speak to you. So I put myself back in your shoes. You know, what is it like for a 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old middle school student to hear a veteran address them, on Veterans Day? And I think back to where I was in the 90s, right? That's when I was a middle school student. What was going on? What was the military like? You know, we had just finished the first Desert Storm, right? The first time into Iraq, and we won that engagement pretty handily. And so I think back to the veterans that the current veterans of that day and that age and the conflict that they were in, and I thought to myself, well, being in the military, it's sort of a good place to be because you always win, right? I mean, we won that engagement pretty easily. But you have to go back and ask yourself, what was it like for some of the veterans that were in Vietnam or Korea or World War II? They certainly had a very different experience. But I probably didn't realize that when I was a middle school student. I had just seen, our armed forces do a superlative job in handling Iraq, and I think that was what my mindset of the military was, is that it's all win all the time, right? USA, USA, we're number one. So, I went on from there, was successful in high school, was successful in college. I had a good job. I was actually teaching, right? I was teaching, so I would have been, like, imagine one of your teachers, one of your coaches. I coached golf, tennis, soccer, those sort of sports. I was only 23 years old. And the global war on terrorism broke out. So for those of you middle school students, I don't think that many of you guys were even alive when this happened, but September 11th was a very trying time. I mean, we were living our lives, things were pretty smooth, and then all of a sudden, planes are flying into buildings and innocent people are losing their lives, and it was pretty traumatizing for the country, and me too, right? I was a young man. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I didn't know if these planes were going to continue to crash into buildings. I didn't know if my family was going to be safe. I didn't know, if I were to get married, if I were to have kids, would they be safe? And so just a lot of uncertainty for our country at that time. And being a young man, I was called to service. Right before I joined, my grandfather passed away, and they presented a flag. If you guys have ever seen those flags folded into triangles, they present those to the families of veterans on behalf of the Veteran Service for our country. And I remember them presenting that and just looking at it and realizing that my grandfather had been a veteran, my father had been a veteran, that we're in this time of concern, this time of unsafety. I was able-bodied, talented person, and I felt compelled to join. So I left my teaching job, I left my classroom, I went to the recruiters and I said, hey, I want to join and I want to be an infantryman. And for those of you guys that don't know what that is, those are the guys that do the job that gets glamorized sometimes on TV, where you're carrying the big backpacks and you've got the body armor on and you're kicking indoors and you're doing all those sort of things. I remember the recruiter asked me, because he saw my test scores, you could do anything. You could be in intelligence, you can sit in an office somewhere. Are you sure you want to kick indoors? And I thought to myself, well, if that's where the bad guys are, if that's where the people are that are trying to hurt other Americans, then that's where I feel like I need to go. Whether it be dangerous or not, that's what I feel called to do. So I went off to Fort Benning, Georgia, and began my journey of being an infantryman. Basic training is something that also gets glamorized on TV a lot, and it's certainly a very interesting experience. That would be something else that you guys could ask all of the other veterans in your lives. Where did you go to basic training? What was that like for you? What was that experience like? I don't have a whole lot of time to talk about my whole experience today, but basic training is a rite of passage for every member of the service, and some great stories there. So, once I got to my unit out of basic training, I wanted to do more things. In the military, it's just like a lot of other jobs. You can add on other credentials. You can do other levels of things. And so I wanted to be a sniper. I wanted to do the air assault. I tried out for Special Forces and for Ranger and all those sort of things, because you see these guys do this and you want to challenge yourself. You want to say, I want to give my best for this country. If I can do it, then I should do it. If I can't do it, that's okay. If I have limitations where I don't pass those courses and I'm just going to be at the level that I'm at, a level of service that I'm at, then that's okay too. But why not try, right? Why not go to these courses and do your best and see if you have what it takes? And I did a few of them, and I'll tell you that those are also good stories to tell. Ask some of your other veteran friends if they went to any special courses like that. Sniper school was a lot of fun. It was a lot of challenge too. People think that it's fun. You see the stuff on TV, but until you're crawling around in the swamps with snakes crawling by you and scorpions crawling on you and getting bit by ants and you can't move, you start to rethink to yourself, is this really what I want to do? But yeah, the training was fun. The challenge was great. People thank me for my service all the time, but a lot of times I said thank my family. You know, I was living a fun life. It was what I wanted to do, but I think that everyone around me was terrified for my safety. But I enjoyed the challenge personally. Our unit was called on twice to deploy and actually go to war. I spent 9 months in the mountains of Afghanistan and 15 months in the streets of Baghdad in active combat. I will tell you that is, you know, what you see on TV is not, you know, the reality of it. There are some shows that do a better job of depicting what it's like than others, but it is an experience all to itself, and not one really that I would really wish upon anybody. It's dangerous when you see things that you didn't want to see, you do things that you didn't want to do, but you have to do to keep those around you safe and to accomplish your mission. And that was really one of the things that I think that all of us veterans would say, is that a lot of it was about taking care of your buddies, taking care of those around you, and placing the mission first. I think most every veteran shares that sense of selfless service, that sense of wanting to serve your country and your friends, and it's not so much just about you. But those 2 years, essentially those 24 months combined, were a very developmental time for me. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, you know, what I was capable of doing and how to pull through things, right? And so after that was the 5 years, right? All the training, all the traveling, all the deployments and things like that. And then I just made the decision that, you know, a 20-year or 30-year career in the military was not for me. So I got out after 5 years, and really, you know, that's another part of the story that I think you should ask all the veterans that you may come into contact with is, you know, what was it like when you got out? What was it like when you were transitioning from being whatever member of service, right? Whether you're a sailor, a soldier, a Marine, or an airman, back into the civilian world, because that's also a very difficult time, right? You get asked a lot of difficult questions about what you did while you were in the service, and you have to move forward with what you're doing. I was fortunate to come from a very supportive community. They wished me well as I left, and they welcomed me back when I returned, but that's certainly not the good fortune that everybody has, right? As I shared, I was a teacher, I was a coach, and when I came back, the principal immediately offered me a job again, and I was able to resume coaching. And so for me, it was easy to, you know, get reintegrated with the civilian world, as we call it, learning all the lessons that I learned about, you know, adhering to standards and having high expectations and placing the mission first. And I'll tell you that it helped me be a better teacher, it helped me be a better coach, it helped me be a better citizen, all the lessons that I learned while I was in the military. And so, you know, the military also comes with some other perks, right? I mean, I had the GI Bill. I did not have any college loans as I went in, but I was able to use the GI Bill to get a master's in educational leadership, which is, you know, put me on the path that I'm on today to become an assistant principal working at the DOE, and now here as the assistant superintendent. So really it opened up just a ton of doors for me by being in the military, and it was, I think, a great decision. You guys, you know, as middle school students, will have to, you know, look at your careers, look at your futures. Certainly a lot of great things you can do in this country as far as jobs that you may want to have. But the military could be a great solution for some of you guys to teach you things about yourself that you haven't had the opportunity to learn. But you know, it's going to be different. That's one thing I can promise you. 5 years from now, generally speaking, about an average maybe, when you guys are graduating high school, the world may be in a different place, right? And so the types of missions that you may be called on to fulfill or to complete, it may speak to you, it may not speak to you. And that's okay too, right? I mean, I don't think any of us veterans really look down on those that didn't serve. It was personal choices that we made. We're proud to have made them. We're proud to have had that opportunity. We're thankful when we're, you know, given opportunities like this. But we understand that there's a lot of greatness in this country. We're proud to be a part of it. So thank you, Ms. Bieber. Thank you, Storm Grove Middle School. Students there at Storm Grove Middle School, I wish I could talk to you guys more. Maybe I can do some classroom visits with the mask on and continue to connect with each of you guys through the years. But I think it's very special that we continue to honor veterans this year in the midst of the pandemic with this video. So thank you and have a happy Veterans Day.
Thank you so much for attending our virtual Veterans Day salute. We hope that next year we are able to continue this tradition in person on campus and welcome you all to join us and attend the amazing celebration recognizing and honoring all of our veterans. Thank you and have a great day.